As many countries in Africa are struggling to service their loans, and some of them are essentially bankrupt, like Ghana, and a few of them on the way, like Egypt and I think Kenya. Some other countries thought to themselves that this would be a great time for them to go in for more loans. Ivory Coast is out there taking more loans. And that's the thing with most African countries is that they take these loans, right? They borrow from the IMF, the World Bank, and also bilateral loans for like China and the Russia. What are they doing with all these loans they are taking? What are they doing in it? Because Africa is the most indebted continent. They owe so much money. But yes, if we had to compare the amount of money they've borrowed and what they've done with it, you can hardly find any connection. Like you can hardly say for yourself that okay, they borrowed this amount of money and what they've done with it correspond. You can hardly say that. Even in my own beloved country, you cannot even draw a straight line between the money they've borrowed and what they've done. Which goes to tell you that they have embezzled every single money they've borrowed. They will borrow 1 billion and they will embezzle like 80% of it. Until we address this problem in Africa, we will keep on borrowing money and not doing anything with it, and then finding it difficult to service the loans. Because remember, at the end of the day, we will have to pay back these loans to the creditors in one form or the other. We will have to pay it back. Whether we like it or not, we will pay it back. So let's go through this article and then let's try to understand why Ivory Coast thought to themselves that it was a great time for them to go in for a loan from the IMF after knowing how destructive IMF loans have been to the African continent. Because if there's one thing that most African leaders agree on, is how unfavorable these IMF loans are to the African continent and African people, and how much they pay as interest to the IMF for the amount of money they are getting from them. And before we even get to that, let me ask this one question, and please answer me in the comment section below. If African leaders have realized that IMF or the World Bank is out there just to exploit them, and that the IMF and the World Bank intentionally put measures in place that disfavored Africa, why are they still eager to collect these loans from the World Bank and the IMF? Why? Why do you keep on eating something that you clearly know gives you stomach ache? Why? Why do you keep on maintaining something that you clearly know doesn't help you? Why? Why? Is this just too much talking and no actions? Are African leaders just talkative but spineless people? And I ask all these questions like from the heart and hoping that maybe some of you out there will have a better explanation as to why African leaders cannot do what they say. As to why African leaders, knowing something very well, still go for it. Why? Please let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so let's get through with this article. IMF approves 500 million financing to Cote d'Ivoire, that is Ivory Coast. Cote d'Ivoire secured 3.5 billion from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, last May to implement an economic reform program. The fund recently reviewed the deal for the first time and said it was happy with the result. The IMF will back Cote d'Ivoire's economic program with 500 million. The announcement was made at the end of a visit to Abidjan by an IMF mission led by Olive. The mission was there to review the country's economic program. Olive said that the program's results so far are satisfactory and all policies, including the key parameters of the 2024 budget framework, have been validated. The facility, which still needs to be approved by the IMF's board of directors, is part of the 3.5 billion MAD and FCE agreement approved by the institution on May 24, 2023. This year, the Ivorian economy was resilient despite the current global shocks and imbalance recorded at the end of 2022. We can see that most countries in Africa just keep on getting more loans from the IMF, even though they kept on complaining and complaining and complaining. Ghana got their own 3 billion bailout, and now they are essentially bankrupt. Now we now have Ivory Coast going in for their own 3.5 billion. Let's hope that it works well for them. And let's hope that Africa can figure out a way to put this money to good use. And let's hope that the government of Alexander Ouattara will not embezzle every single thing. But you guys out there, when you see African leaders collecting money from the IMF while at the same time complaining of the unbalanced policies, what is your take about it? Isn't that a kind of hypocrisy for someone to be complaining about something while at the same time receiving that thing? If these IMF loans are unbalanced, or if the policies in place on how countries can borrow money from the IMF is unbalanced, why do African countries still go for the loans? Why? Please share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good tweet, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall ever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.